Ready?
This is Nicole. Welcome to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.
Big energy.
We back.
We are. We're back for another episode. It's not the day that we typically
might have to put my hood on for this episode.
Oh my gosh.
I might have to put my hood on for this episode.
So we're going to make sure that we enter in all the disclaimers.
Yes.
Not Arnold. We're going to enter in all the disclaimers because this can, on a serious note, this can be triggering to some.
Mm-hmm.
But have you heard of the situation? It happened like maybe a couple weeks ago where a person was performing like the undertaking of a body, right? And
a teacher?
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's a teacher because there were students in the room with her that she was teaching about like how to undertake a body. So come to find out that the body that she was caring for, she found out that it was a person who was a molester. So she cut his genitals off in front of the students
in the class.
Yeah, but the person's already deceased.
So this is a class where students are learning to be a mortician?
Yes.
Okay.
So she cut their genitals off and she stuck it in his mouth.
Wow.
So of course the family is suing and everything like that. But what are your thoughts?
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
I got a variety of thoughts, and again, my thoughts come because obviously, I have children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different things that are happening with kids nowadays.
Exactly.
But again, going to school, I too was in a class where it was a debate class, so to speak.
Okay.
And part of the class was like, for example, the teacher gave part of the class, you're for the death penalty, and the other part of the class was against the death penalty.
Okay.
And then the other part of it was, you were fighting for someone that was a molester, and then the other part of the class was you were basically trying to get that person imprisoned.
Okay.
And I remember one of the girls in my class, who I still communicate with to this day, she was big on the aspect of understanding the mind of the person that was the molester. And what she found is that person had been molested.
Exactly.
So the things that he was doing was the norm to him.
Okay.
So now let's go back and unpack what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So now this person is gone, and they were a molester.
Yeah.
And the teacher took it upon themselves to take their genitals and put it in his mouth.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to feel about this because, like, one, if it was my family member and they were like a molester in that situation, like the body is deceased at that point. So I feel like obviously all the things they did, they're gonna have to go answer to God with.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the intent of why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, did they get angry? Like, when I say they, I mean the teacher.
Were they triggered by something?
Yeah, like did something happen to them as a kid, or did something happen to their children or a family member? I just don't understand the intent of why it was done.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think what really perverts the reaction that the teacher did was the fact that you did it in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. I think that you can even look at the situation differently and think that it was a moment of emotion on when you did it. If you were by yourself, let's say you were reading the file and you're by yourself and you were but the fact that you're like around others and you're supposed to be the mindset of teaching and taking someone's genitals off and putting it in their mouth. And I'm not smiling because I think this is funny.
No, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But, so
because that is someone's family member.
That is definitely a human, right? That was a person.
Yeah.
And I guess I do think of it also spiritually, where I realize that that's also a shell.
But that person was a child molester.
And that person was loved by somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm not negating that at all. I think that it's, like I said, it's very sadistic because even that action, it doesn't take away all the pain that person caused to whoever they molested.
Right.
So I don't know what that person's mindset was, but I feel like what the assumption was with their mindset is they almost want to humiliate, like let their last moments of anyone knowing them be humiliation, because sometimes as a victim of molestation, even though you didn't do anything, you feel humiliated, or you feel like the world is very big on, like, they'll question someone who says that they touched me versus the person investigating the person who touched you.
Right.
So, but I think that we live in a world of perversion, and for the longest time, I mean, I don't know what the gender was of this type of molester, or whether it was with children or stuff like that. But I guess there's two sides you can argue, because we're talking from the family standpoint of whoever that person was. But what about the standpoint of the victim's family?
Right.
Like, I'm sure they felt like vindicated, like, good, that's what he deserves, you know?
Right. And then I just kind of went through a lot of imagery in my mind of like how old was this person, like, you know, the person that got their genitals cut off. I was going through my mind of like how old was the audience to see this, because it could, again, seeing something like that could have changed a lot of their opinions about their career path.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah, it could be traumatized. It's like getting hit by a car. You know, if you get in a car accident, and when you start driving again, you just like think everybody's going to hit you. Yeah. So I was thinking of like those things, and then I ultimately went to my mind where I was saying to myself, like, okay, whoever that child molested, like, what is that person feeling right now? And then I was thinking about, what was that child molester's cause of death? Like, did he get the death penalty? Like, is that why he's dead now? So he already could have paid the consequences. So I just went through a plethora of thoughts. But my ultimate final thought comes to like the victim of what happened, what the child molester did to that victim.
Exactly.
And then in addition to that, I was thinking, if the victim found out about it, it could be like they say in mortgage business, like waking a sleeping dog. Because the victim could have finally might have healed from that child molester. I'm just going to call him Mr. X. And now news pops out that this happened to Mr. X. And now it's just opening a whole bunch of wounds and waking sleeping dogs, where that child molester victim is now starting to think of that name of that person again. Yeah. And just having the visions of what they did to them.
And having all the people humanize them, and all they can do is talk about like how great that person is versus the pain that they cause. And I guess, one, we have to always acknowledge that there is an origin story for everybody, right? And to me, it doesn't take away the fact of their actions, because that's deplorable. Like, I can't imagine as a parent, like, something like that happening to my children and me just being like, oh, I feel bad for their corpse.
Right.
I wouldn't feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like, I know I wouldn't feel that way. Right. And I'm saved, and I believe in Jesus, and I believe in forgiveness, right?
Yes. Yep.
But the part of me that is still human, and not thinking in the spiritual realm, would be like, that's all they did? I would have taken all of it off.
Right.
It's like,
no, you said what
I
you
wouldn't
said.
have, maybe I wouldn't have been mad if the mortician did. But
taking it back.
No, but it goes to like, okay, so once I saw that video, it's like you get in this rabbit hole of like, okay, I started seeing another article.
Right.
Then the article that I saw was about the guy who lured this child to a whole different.
That was recently, like within the last couple of days or so. I did hear that, and I read that too as well. Where he was up in Pennsylvania or somewhere, but he essentially began a conversation online, which this is like a huge thing for me, especially, you know, obviously I got a 14-year-old son.
Exactly.
And he's always, you know, communicating and talking online. Like, this is like a big deal. And when I heard that story that you're talking about too, but essentially this individual started talking to a 13-year-old girl online. Obviously he was a grown man. And once he started talking to her, he befriended her. And at some point, he sent the Uber to her house to pick her up. And when he did that, obviously, he sexually assaulted her, but the way that he really used the sexual assault is he obviously had her send him some pictures of herself beforehand. So she felt that she had to go, to his house with the Uber. And she also told her mom, Mom, I'm going out for a little while. You don't have to check on me or anything like that. I'll be back. And mom just kind of, found it alarming. And then what she did was, when she was being sexually assaulted, she ripped off some of her hair.
I saw that, so she can leave some DNA, because she didn't know what was gonna come from that.
Yeah, they said that he told her that she's not gonna be leaving after this anymore.
Yeah, and she got away. And it's like, first of all, the mind of that child to be able to fight still, knowing that there's going to be repercussions, or the fear of, is there going to be repercussions because I lied about this? And then I said, you know what I'm saying, like that. And I think it's so sad with, as being a parent, like this whole internet thing, it is so scary. And the AI mixed with it, because now you can be talking to like a 50 or 60-year-old person, and come to find out, like, but what they're presenting to you is someone that's your age, because you're able to make it appear that you're something that you're not. And you think about the manipulation of a pervert, or
they call them chomos.
Okay,
that's what they call.
What's it called?
In jail, chomos.
Chomos, yeah. You think of like,
now, I ain't never been to jail, but I know a lot of people that
and they let it out.
They do, yeah.
And they take they in jail, like, that's a, when you talk about touching children and babies, and it's like the distortion in the mind, where, let's be honest, right? We're gonna get to nitty gritty. It's such a deeply distorted mind to go after a child and take it, when you literally can take $5 and go on Route 13. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why is there such a perversion with taking something from an innocent person and manipulating? It's like a thrill, and it's a sick thing when you can actually get it for free. You can go to a bar and get it for free.
Well, how would you feel about us doing an interview with a child molester?
I don't know if I would be able to do that.
Well, me neither. I can't personally even say I know any, but I would be intrigued to interview one.
I don't know if I can humanize their actions. And even if they started off as a victim, because then this is what I say, like, let's say a lot of times if you go to origin stories, it has happened to them, right?
Right.
But do you remember how you felt when that was happening to you? The fear that was like through your whole body every time you saw that person. Why would you inflict that same type of pain on another person? To me, like, there's no justification for that. So I don't care what words come out your mouth. There's no way I can justify your actions and humanize you. Like, I understand.
Right.
I'm a parent.
Yep.
So
you like me, you just killing and waiting for the cops to come. Yeah, me too. Okay.
I'm not gonna say that, but I think our face says it all.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
right, your most prized joy.
Yeah.
The one thing that got me from this story about this 13-year-old girl, which like really blew my mind, was the fact that when the cops went through the evidence and they found this guy, the guy and the girl exchanged 1,082 messages in one day.
Ooh,
via text.
That's obsessive.
Right. And the mom had no idea. And the mom, she's an advocate now, talking about different things with, understanding and seeing the language in your child. And
the signs.
She was a good parent from what I read and everything. Yeah. She just didn't know. But 1,082 messages in that one day, which leads her to get into an Uber. So now I started thinking about like Uber, like how in the hell does this happen?
Y'all let a child get in there and no justification? Well, one, I'm just curious, like, not that it matters, but I wonder what the child looked like.
Obviously we don't know.
On how, because I'm saying in this today's time, you get
wrong.
Some of them are so developed where you don't even realize it's a child. Right. So that's why I'm not going to 100% put on an Uber driver to be like, how come you didn't realize that this account, or this kid, it's a kid getting in the car. Like there should be some type of precautions that we have that show the age of the people we're picking up.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, like, just like from real estate and from understanding like a lot of law things, but like every contract that's created has something in there because of some kind of litigation or something that happened historically.
Exactly.
So now that this has happened, like there should be conversations being had. Like, all right, even if I Uber or schedule an Uber for my cousin in Florida right now, who might be broke down on the side of the road, like she should have to give an ID or something. You see what I mean?
Exactly. Like I shouldn't be able to just pick anybody up because it's already the fare is paid for.
You see what I mean?
But I mean, man, there's a lot more episodes that should come from this. But when it comes to these predators, unfortunately, like they think deeply and they target. Like you're like, when you're a predator, you're studying your prey.
Right.
And unfortunately, these children are just walking and living their life. That they're not playing.
Yeah, they're innocent.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you even teach your child to, like, it's like in a sense you're taking away their innocence by teaching them to play such the defense, because some of these people are really manipulative.
I can't wait till we finish the book we started writing called Playing on the Defense.
Yeah.
Written by Nicole and Eddie. Playing on the defense.
Decent.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about life and how everything you do, you literally have to play on the defense.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I love the mindset that I have, that all people are guilty until proven innocent.
Right, that's your mindset.
Because that just makes me already be aware, like I'm not so freely trusting you. Like I don't trust anyone with my children.
Right.
Like we're very open. They're very, like, we don't do nicknames for body parts. We are very aware of what is appropriate touching, what is not appropriate touching.
Right.
And I don't care, like, it's for everybody. Like your body is yours. And even that, it's like you have parents who, like, you feel like you're doing everything you can do. So that's why I don't also think it's the parents' fault necessarily they did something wrong.
Right.
Because these mindsets of people aren't normal. That's not a normal mindset to see something that is like fragile,
right,
and you target that
and then exploit it.
Exactly. You're not taking a healthy mindset. And I would have to make myself unhealthy to try to justify your actions. And I'm not saying the mortician was right or wrong, because I understand that's someone's loved one.
Right.
But I will say I can understand why that mortician felt like we're going to humiliate them, especially you don't know what their beliefs are for the afterlife. And it's like, I'm going to send him off in the afterlife like this.
Right. I mean, this is especially with children right now. Like, I mean, like you just said, it's a whole nother podcast. Like this online world and life is crazy.
It's like an attack.
Remember the other story that we read about the mom and the mom's son? Yes,
well, he was a sextortion. That one?
Yeah, so I was thinking like, well, okay, so the boy was what, 13 or 14 again? And obviously we gave the stats on the last podcast about bullying and suicide with kids aged 13 and 14. It's such a pivotal age. But obviously in this situation, the mom did not live with the dad anymore. They were separated. And the dad wanted the boy for the day. And the boy went over with the dad. And the boy would always text his mom back and forth throughout the day. She messaged him. He didn't respond back.
And she knew something was off.
Yeah, she said she was just going to go over to dad's house and just check on him. But that night after work, she said, I went home. So she didn't go. She said, so later in the morning, he would always stay up late, like 3 a.m, and he would text her, even if he was in the other room. He would always be on the video games and stuff. She said, so it wasn't uncommon for him to be up late because he would play different roadblocks and all these games early in the morning. And he didn't respond back to her text. And she said, she went to sleep. And then she called the dad. The dad didn't call her. She called the dad.
I know. When I heard the story, I was like, and then the first thing she was like, checking on the son, and he's like, he's gone. Whoa.
Yeah.
And she said she had to disconnect the call.
Right.
First of all, why didn't you call me?
Right.
Like, you knew that.
And ain't no
telling. And how long have you been knowing that? And you withheld that information from me, and to know that the little boy did it because they were threatening to post the pictures that he sent in his moment of his guard being down.
Yeah, he thought
you thought you were doing someone your age.
Yeah, he thought he was meeting a beautiful girl or something, and they said, "Send me a picture of your genitals,"
and that's
or
why
whatever, and he sent it.
I pray for every child out there, and that's like, your body is yours, and even if you do make the mistake of sitting it out there, like, don't ever think that is going to define the love that your family has for you, or the embarrassment of that coming out is greater than the love that your family has for you.
Right. It's not worth taking your life.
Not at all.
In this case, the little boy, they were antagonizing him, and they were like, money. "Look, send me $1,000."
Yeah.
His mom said he only had $300 to his name, and he sent them that, and she said that's all he had, and they kept on pushing and pushing and said, "Get the money," and he said, "I'm just going to kill myself."
And no, I think that they sent the message. They were like, "We'll do it."
Yeah, they told him right after that. They said,
"Wow." Because once again, we cannot get in the mindset of these manipulative, crazy people to even know you're corresponding with a child, and it's still an element of perversion. Because if I know I'm an adult, and even if my mission is to get money from you,
right,
and I'm sending you a message to send me your little baby parts,
right,
like, there's no part about my full human adultness.
But even make you even think about that.
They're babies. I don't care if he is 18 years old. I'm 35. Like, you're a baby to me.
Right.
I look at you as a child.
Yeah.
There's nothing about me. I don't even want to see your body parts in that type of way, because I can't get in that mindset. And to know that these people are just freely moving, freely operating online. And this crazy part is, how like when you're a detective and they're trying to do like a case, and they get like the face of a person, or they do the profile. There is no specific profile to a child molester. They are in your churches. They live with you. They're in your family. They're, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no specific profile for these people.
It's true. I mean, in this case, he killed himself. And it's just, the reason why we really want to talk about this topic is because we've seen so much on it this week, even from a middle school principal, that sexually assaulted, and this was a female principal.
It's been like 10 in Delaware. Wow. Teachers and stuff. I have to send you a link, but it's been quiet. Yeah.
This is a sad thing where the children are becoming targets, not even online, but in people that are supposed to become, or supposed to be trusted advisors.
Yeah.
And now this woman's son has lost his life, and the thing that got me the most was, which I respect the authorities in this case, was that they tracked down the conversation to find out what happened with this boy, and it took them to Africa. And what come to find out, it was two. They looked like they were between the age of 16 and 18 African kids that did this. That was coercing this little kid, to send the money.
Wow.
So they were close to his age range, and the United States got him exonerated and brought him to the United States to serve the time. Now, the time wasn't much. I believe it was like 17 years they got for this. And the mother said, many people in the public said, that's not right, that's not enough. She said, I'm so grateful the United States even tracked this down, went and found these kids over in a whole nother country, and found these people, and to come to find out they were kids, and brought them back here. She was like, that itself is enough for me to have closure, that there's some justice.
Yeah.
Because these kind of scams happen all the time over
You're right. And I'll say this, and I'll leave it with this thought, but the internet has a lot of benefits, but it's like a weapon. There's like your vehicle, right? Where it's like there's a certain responsibility when you get behind the wheel of your car,
right?
Because you realize that you are driving around something that can take away life just at a snap
second.
Yeah. So it's like when you think of the internet, and it's like, yeah, there's so many great things that have come from it, but this is a weapon that needs to be handled with responsibility, because in the fastest moment it can turn to something tragic.
Right.
So I think that we need to have an awareness and understand the responsibility that comes with this, because there's a deep responsibility. And right now, let's be honest, children, like my daughter is 10. Mm-hmm. She's not emotionally equipped to sift through the responsibility of all that the internet brings.
And kids are so inquisitive.
So inquisitive.
No matter how much you try to shelter or whatever, they will find a way. It's kind of like when my mom and them would say, you know what, don't have no girls over this house. I'm like, okay.
Well, I listened to the rules, but yeah.
No, you didn't.
I was
no kid.
Not all the rules, but that rule I did. I was.
Well, what rule did you break? Let's talk about it on camera.
No. I was an angel. I still am. But no, like
that. So serious.
It is. It's a deep responsibility, and I think the discussion needs to always.
We need to talk to
the open
kids.
Communication. Yeah, talk to your children, hug them, and let them know. Like I said, if anything, let them know that your one mistake will not define my love for you is unconditional.
Right.
And you making a mistake, don't decide for what you think I'm going to react or feel. Come to me.
Right.
Like, I'm equipped to handle that, because I want my children to know, like, no matter what you do, I'm equipped to handle it, and we'll deal with it together.
Right. So. And don't be worried about what everybody else is thinking.
Yes, and keep your bodies to yourself.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.